Hi friends, you're here with me, Baby Firefly, the taxidermy witch, and we're going to talk about mushrooms in this video, right? So just at the point where I'm starting to feel like there's nothing left to forage, get everything in that you can at the end of the summer. The garden, the flowers, so many things that are coming at the end of the summer. And then as a forager, somebody who makes their living on selling herbs, and I have over 300 things that I sell at this point, I thought, okay, this is it. And then I went to my girlfriend Julia's house. Julia, I love you. Thank you so much for being a friend to me during this really, 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 really difficult time in my life. And she said, oh, it's mushroom season. And that reminded me. And then when I went out to feed the goats this morning, I saw mushrooms and I was like, oh, it's mushroom season. So not only do I have a shit pile of mushrooms to show you that I collected just in my yard. And for those of you who are really well versed in, I think it's called mycology, M-Y-C-O-L-O-G-Y, mycology. Please do help me. I dry these out for my witchcraft, and if they are of a nature that is illegal, I need to know so that I don't add that in. But I use them in witchcraft. I dry them, and then I use them for the purposes. So that's why we're going to talk, and it's been a really long time since we've done an herbalism video. I'm trying to get back on track. And so here we go. In Scott Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, there's nothing under mushroom, but there is under toadstool. And I'll show you the little picture that's there. So toadstool, it says poison, powers rainmaking, magical uses, accidentally breaking down toadstools, like accidentally walking through the woods and stepping on them, will cause rain to fall. Also, old wives' tale, side note, my mom has always told me that if you step on a spider, it will rain. Please comment below if you've ever heard that or you know more about the stepping on a spider and it will rain. Please. So accidentally breaking down toadstools will cause rain to fall, but I don't know if showers occur when it is deliberately done. Interesting, Scott Cunningham. So what Scott Cunningham is saying there is that if you accidentally step on a toadstool, it will cause rain to fall. To me, this seems like it would be raining all the time because people would be stepping on them accidentally all the time. But then he says, but I don't know if showers occur when it's deliberately done. Interesting. Okay, so that's what we have on mushrooms or toadstool from Scott Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. And now we're on to Scott Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Wicca in the Kitchen. Now, this book is when you use it for magical workings. This book is when you ingest it into your body. It's different. So, in this book, it's listed under mushroom, right? Because this is, we just said it was a poison over here, so obviously you can't eat it. So over here we're talking about mushroom. An edible mushroom. Planet is the moon, and that makes so much sense. I don't want to spoil it or anything, but when you look at the mushrooms when I show them to you, and I'll just pick them up. I can't touch them without gloves because I don't, but I mean big white round tops, totally resembling the moon. Yes. These mushrooms are fantastic. I can't wait to show them to you. I have both little ones and big ones. Maybe 10 different types I'm going to show you. No, not 10, like 6 or 7. Planet is the moon. Element is earth. And that makes so much sense because the root of the mushroom, even when you pull it out, see, I should put on a glove. It's so covered with earth. You know. Sorry, I don't edit my videos, so there's always going to be earth at the bottom of your mushroom or toadstool, and it's just such a big representation of that earth element, you know. Even when you dust these off, that earth is really still attached to that beautiful mushroom, that beautiful toadstool. Okay, so energy energies are psychic awareness. And so we think of mushroom. A lot of people, if you said mushroom, they might think of Alice in Wonderland. They might think of hippy dippy trippy. They might think of something they don't like to eat. They might think of a lot of different things. But when I use it in witchcraft, I use mushrooms for fae workings. And I use them for 7th chakra, or your connection to spirituality. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. If you want me to kind of branch out on that, leave a comment below and I will branch out on that in another video. So the lore of mushrooms in this book: pharaohs in ancient Egypt ate mushrooms, but the common people did not. Romans believed that mushrooms provided strength to the body. Mushrooms, like all fungus, have long been regarded with suspicion. Their seemingly miraculous appearance overnight after a good rain, and that's so fucking true. It's so fucking true. These gigantic mushrooms, I walk my property every day, and then all of a sudden there's this pile of 3 gigantic mushrooms together, and they're not even the same breed, or the same genus, species, etc. So that really hits home, talking about their seemingly miraculous appearance overnight after a good rain, and lately we've been having a lot of good rain. You'll find them under trees if you're looking for them, because they tend to grow around trees. Their mysterious ways of propagation and their eerie appearance. So you might use this, just based on this literature, you might use this for sneaking up on someone. You might use it for a working where you're trying to do something before somebody figures out what you're doing. Almost like an invisibility, like a snakeskin use. So, in their eerie appearance, have put them into 1,000 magical spell books and fairy tales. That's funny, because out of all my magical books, I only found 4 books that talked about mushrooms or toadstool. But I do believe that they're in thousands of books, obviously. Some mushrooms are delicious and quite safe to eat. Others are delicious and quite deadly. And that's why we're going to be using gloves in this video, because I am not a mycologist. I don't know how to identify these unless it's like an obvious amanita or some kind of cabensis. Some mushrooms are delicious and quite safe to eat. Others are delicious and quite deadly. Accidental deaths still occur each year when amateur mushroom hunters pick the wrong kind of wild mushrooms to enjoy with their natural meals. And so saying that, you know, there are mushrooms just like carrot and Queen Anne's lace. They're so similar, but Queen Anne's lace, aka the wild carrot, is poison, whereas the carrot is something that's hardy to eat. There are mushrooms that look like chanterelles, and we're going to show them to you over here. I don't believe they're true chanterelles. They might be poisonous, you know. So, for those of you who are into mushrooms, when we get to the part of this video where I show them, if you know what these are, please tell me with the timestamps. Timestamp, that's this. Timestamp. That would be so helpful for me. And fun for you, yeah? Mushrooms containing hallucinogenic substances, and if I find any of those, they're going, I'm just going to throw them over my bank and they're going to go back into the earth. I can't possess any of that because it's illegal, obviously. Mushrooms containing hallucinogenic substances have been used for ritual purposes in Mexico, South America, Siberia, and in Native American, side note, and in many other parts of the world. They remain a popular and illegal street drug in parts of the United States. Just in the U.S., Scotty, come on, they're legal and used in many places. I love you, Scott Cunningham, I'm just saying. Okay, so the next book that I found where mushrooms appear is The Witch's Ointment. It is a book of the secret history of psychedelic magic. And the only place where mushrooms appeared, funnily enough, because this book is called The Secret History of Psychedelic Magic, was on page 199 and 200, where it states, of the other kinds of ointments of sorcerers, Nalod counts most astounding new addition to the ingredients. A substance certainly popular today, but nearly absent from the medieval and early modern pharmacopoeia. Love you, Joey. Magic mushrooms, or rather sleepy and maddening mushrooms. These fungi, along with henbane, which we talk about and we know, opium, deadly nightshade, and other drugs were used by the devil to disturb the enslaved mind, cause vigorous figures and representations on the senses, and show the shadows of the underworld. So all that shit you're seeing when you're tripping, this book says that's the shadows of the underworld. Interesting. My opinions are separate from that book, okay? That's not my opinion. I'm just reading out a book. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to read out of symbols and their meanings and talk about mushroom and the symbol. I looked in my dream book, couldn't find mushrooms. It's a shitty dream book, okay? Okay, so on page 85 of this here book, when it comes to mushroom, it says, among other plants used as a symbol of life arising from death was the mushroom, an important emblem of longevity and happiness in China, and a legendary food of the immortals in Taoist tradition. Mushrooms personify souls of the reborn in some parts of Central Europe and Africa. Their magical sudden appearance. Again, we're talking about something that magically suddenly appears. So there you go. Use that for your mushrooms, for your magical intention. Something that magically suddenly appears. You want to jump up on somebody? You want to surprise something? There you go. Mushrooms. Surprise. Their magical sudden appearance and possibly the use of some varieties as hallucinogens may also account for folklore associations with supernatural. Again, we're talking about the seventh chakra, your connection to spirituality. A lot of people call this supernatural stuff, ghosts, spirits, whatever. How do we view it? How do you view it? You know, it's different for everyone, really, what that supernatural word means to you, in my opinion. Yeah. So, sorry I got off in a little tangent there. May account for folklore associations with the supernatural, leading to the notion of pixie houses or witches' rings. I'm gonna need to look up pixie houses and witches' rings. If you guys know anything about that, please do comment below. And then it goes on to honey. So there's our book reading. There's not a lot in my books about mushrooms. Even the book on psychedelics, it was quite trippy, if you will. So thanks for joining me, Baby Firefly, the taxidermy witch, while we talked about mushrooms. I'm going to come back for another video and show you my mushrooms, because this video is already at, 13 minutes. Get out there. Look down on the ground. At the moment when you think that there's nothing out there to be foraged, there is. You just have to get close to the earth. You have to put your face down there. You have to put your face down where you can see at the level, just like Alice did. Okay? Follow that white rabbit, y'all. I love ya.